Hey everyone, welcome to our first virtual run challenge. You can participate from anywhere in the world at any time. Feel free to share this challenge with a friend or family. We'll really appreciate that. In this video, we're going to share number 1, our favorite running tip of the week that will make you a much better runner. Number 2, an incredibly inspirational story of running. And number 3, one virtual running challenge for you. When you complete the virtual running challenge, we'll pick 3 winners to send a completely free running gift to. You don't want to miss this challenge, and you definitely don't want to miss the story of Julius Achon.
I ran away to save my life. My running took me into Olympic Games and multiple records. But the most important place running took me was into the lives of the children and to help my community.
Amidst war, death, and some of the hardest setbacks in life, Julius kept running. And though he never won a gold medal, he achieved something infinitely better. Okay, so the running tip of the week is good runners condition their entire bodies. Strength training is key for runners. We'll have a link below with some specific exercises that will help you become a better runner, but we also have a video that we recommend through Train with Gains by Brains. In this short clip, you'll see what a typical workout looks like. It's definitely been really helpful for us as we train to run more.
There's a million of those who won't let us be, but they're not gonna see me bleed, cause baby I got you.
We'll also include a link below where you can find this video and do it on your own. Okay, and now for our inspirational story of the week. Julius Achon ran away from the civil war in Uganda. He ran all the way to an NCAA title and even the Olympics. But during a run at home one day, he saw 11 starving orphans huddled around the bus, and he chose not to run away from that.
And then one morning I went for a run. So at the end of my run, then I found these 11 orphans sleeping under the bus. They said their parents were dead. And then I said, can I walk you to my family? So they all accepted and they walked together with me.
He never won a gold medal. He saw death, war, and some of the hardest setbacks in life, but he kept running and achieved something infinitely greater. Achon grew up with 8 other siblings in Uganda during the Ugandan crisis. His home was a mud hut with a leaky straw roof. He usually would only have 1 meal a day and drank water from a local swamp that was shared by cattle. His parents could not afford the $15 tuition for school, so he would sneak into class whenever he could. At the age of 10, Achon would run on a really narrow village dirt path just to get home. When Achon was 12, one day soldiers abducted him and put him in an LRA camp over 100 miles away from his home. Just 3 months into the camp, during an air raid, Achon managed to escape, but 9 other boys with him at the time were shot and killed. Just a year after returning home, Achon entered his first foot race and won the country race. He qualified into the district championships, but he had no money to get to Lyra, which was 42 miles away and where the championships would be held. He tried offering a chicken to the only person with a car in his village, but when they refused, he had no other option but to run to Lyra. 6 hours later, Achon made it to the championship race in Lyra. At the championship, Achon won the 800-meter race, the 1500-meter race, and the 3000-meter race easily, all while running barefoot. At just 13 years old, Achon qualified for the national championships in Kampala. At Kampala, Achon managed to win the national championships where he was awarded a 5-gallon jug to carry water. Achon was awarded a scholarship to attend high school where he blossomed as a runner. At the World Junior Championships, he was the first Ugandan to win the gold medal. After that, 24 American colleges offered him a scholarship. Achon chose to go to George Mason University. Achon, the star of the team, led his school to NCAA Indoor Championship in 1996. A few months later, Achon competed at the Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. Although Achon did not make it out of preliminary rounds, that's where his story really began. During his time in college, the war in Uganda was escalating. Rumors were the LRA was torturing villagers. Men who resisted joining the military were butchered, boiled, and their families were forced to eat the stew. Fearing for his parents' lives, Achon dropped out of GMU to go back to Kampala. Although his parents were alive and well, his student visa expired and he was left stuck in a war zone. One day back home during one of his runs, Achon stumbled across almost a dozen kids under an old bus. The kids were in rags and covered in dust. Thinking these were corpses, Achon initially backed away. But suddenly one of the girls got up, kneeled, and begged him for money. As he talked to the kids, he found out the children's parents had been shot dead. They'd all been homeless for the past year, so they decided to huddle together. In the morning, the kids would beg, and at night, they would find shelter. The oldest boy there was 10 years old, and the youngest was 3 years old. Achon immediately brought all the kids to his parents' home. But room at his parents' home was already scarce, and they barely had enough money to feed themselves. Nonetheless, his father agreed to care for the children, provided Achon would find a way to send money to feed the children. Desperate, Achon found a running job in Portugal that paid $5,000 a year, plus any earnings from races. To feed the orphans would cost about $1,200 a year, which was about a quarter of his salary. Unable to afford rent, Achon slept in a cot in the basement of his running club. The basement had no electricity or heat. Despite being homeless himself and barely scraping by every month, Achon kept running and managed to compete in the semifinals of the Olympics in 2002 in Sydney. His big break came when his old coach at GMU helped him find a job as a pacer for elite runners at Nike. The job paid $1,600 a month and it allowed him back into the US. But $1,600 a month was barely enough to cover for him and his wife Grace, yet still he managed to send back $100 a month to the orphans. While in Portland, Achon qualified for his third Olympics. His coach told him that he was at the cusp of being a world-class runner. But shortly after that, one day he found out his mom was shot by the LRA. His father pleaded for Achon to send $1,500 to care for his mom. Achon was devastated he didn't have the money, and while he did all he could to raise cash, his mom eventually bled to death. Achon was haunted by his mother's death and affected his training. His career soon began to collapse following a knee injury in a race, and then later a back injury from a car accident. One day, one of Achon's coworkers invited him to have dinner with a man, Jim Fee. When Fee and his wife learned about Achon's story with his family and orphans, they decided to contribute $500 a month to their cause. After Fee retired from the medical industry, he decided to devote more time to helping Achon's nonprofit, Achon Uganda Children's Fund. In 2010, Achon invited Fee to visit Uganda. Fee reluctantly went, but it was there he saw the deplorable conditions of the Ugandan hospitals. He saw not only how little the orphans had, but also how little it took to make a huge impact. During his timely visit, all 12 children had happened to catch malaria. Fee helped take all 12 children to the clinic to care for their needs and illness, and he also bought them mosquito nets. It all only cost $150. Achon wanted to raise money to build a clinic, and then a village school, and he also wanted to develop a sports program to help children traumatized by the war. When you run, he said, it helps you forget. Through his life, Achon recognized his improbable survival amidst so much war and disease was truly a gift from God, a gift that he needed to share with others. In the fall of 2012, the Christina Health Center, named after Achon's mother, opened its doors in Achon's home village. Since then, it has treated 24,000 patients. Construction recently finished on the center's fifth building, named in memory of Jim Fee, who died in 2013 in a bicycling accident. Fee's family remains fully involved in Achon Uganda Children's Fund. Jim's widow, Angela, is executive director, and his sons are on staff. Achon also partnered with Australian Olympic distance runner Eloise Wellings and her nonprofit Love Mercy to support 40 Ugandan orphans. Achon now lives in his home, Kampala, with his wife and 2 sons. He still runs 5 days a week. And though he never won any gold medals or reached a level of fame, Achon's difficult journey led him to a life of fulfillment and making a difference in the lives of the people in his hometown. His story teaches us not to see the setbacks in our lives as roadblocks, but building blocks to our character. But most importantly, despite whatever setbacks we experience in life, to always keep running, because you never know how your life will become a huge blessing for others. In honor of Julius Achon's inspiring story, here is a virtual run challenge for this month. Comment in this video with your results or email us in the link below. If we pick your response, we'll send you a completely free running gift, and we'll choose 3 winners. Run or jog a race in honor of someone past or present. This run is dedicated to them. Share with the rest of us their story. It can be as short as 1 sentence or as long as a few paragraphs. We can keep the name anonymous if you prefer. In our next email, we'll announce any winners and the prize that we're giving away for free. If you like this video and virtual running challenge, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Okay, that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching and running with us. We'll see you in the next challenge.